What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Skews Day to you. It is April 19th, 2022. I'm Trey Crowder, and that's Mark Agee. What's up, Mark?
What's up, Trey, buddy? Hope you had a good Easter.
Oh, buddy. Well, yeah, we get do it real big for Easter in this godless household. But yeah, I mean, I do have children. Like to keep them busy in the yard for a little while, put some eggs out there, whatever. I was actually talking to Corey earlier this week. I feel like with Easter, it's really, really easy to hide the Jesus ball if that's what you're trying to do. Do you know what I mean? Because of how like sort of goofy and it's been pointed out a million times, but like a rabbit with eggs and chocolate, it doesn't like automatically call to mind Jesus. So you're just like, if you got kids and you ain't into that whole tip, you're just like, yeah, the rabbit, there's eggs, go find them. There's money in them or whatever. So, it's fine. What'd you
yeah.
do?
I was I remembered. I was just laughing all day because I just had this vague memory. Coincidentally, yesterday happened to be the 10th anniversary of my dad passing. I was just thinking about my dad, and I remembered one Easter, my sister had pet rabbits. It never worked out well. One got eaten by a dog, one ran away and got eaten by something
Hmm.
else, I guess. Uh, funny story. When our dog ate a rabbit, it pushed up through the rabbit hutch. So my sister went out to feed a rabbit in the morning. The dog was just sitting in the rabbit hutch, just like,
Where the rabbit used to be,
yeah.
covered in rabbit blood and fur. Yeah, yeah,
Because
that's some country shit right there.
yeah, but one Easter, my dad decided he wanted to prank her, so he woke me up at like 5 a.m. to help him dye the rabbit all different colors, like Patches the Easter Bunny, which is like a children's book we read as a kid. So I had to hold this rabbit while my dad, laughing his ass off, was covering it in blue and pink food coloring. And then, like, my sister was 8. She wasn't stupid. She comes out. She didn't think that her bunny had turned into the Easter bunny. My
Yeah,
dad's prank it didn't work, but I had to try to play it off while I'm just covered. Like, I got blue and pink
you
titties
got
all
all
over
over
this
your
rabbit,
fingers and everything.
my chest. And I was just thinking about that and laughing.
Dude, when
What,
that was way more wholesome than I was expecting it to be. I guess one rabbit did get eaten by a dog, but when you
yeah,
first you're like, yeah, maybe thinking my dad and my sister had rabbits, and I was like, God, who ate these rabbits? But it was just the dog.
dude. Animals did not do well around my house. My mom, one year for
No.
vacation Bible school, they did like a nativity like reenactment. It was like it's supposed to be like a marketplace, like in the, in Jesus times. And so she borrowed all these animals, including a donkey named Big Mac that got loose and ran away. So we had to run around the woods chasing Big Mac. And then she borrowed this goat from a neighbor, and we're keeping it in a dog pen. But the dog pen was in the sun. My mom got concerned that her neighbor's goat was hot, so she took it out of the pen and chained it to a tree in the shade. Guess what happened to that dog, Trey? That goat, Trey. Dog got that one too. Uh,
Y'all
so
had some serious dogs, dude. It wasn't no
fun dogs, Trey.
Pomeranian shit going on at the Agee household.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't had bad luck with animals.
The dogs had good luck though. Sounds like
Yeah, dogs.
every other
Dogs.
day the dog was like, "It must be my birthday." Damn, free goat. Can't even go nowhere. I love this place.
It's like it's like Jurassic Park before the first
Yeah,
one they just chained the goat up and a Trent T-Rex came like it's like that.
yeah.
While we're on the subject of predators, Alex Jones declared bankruptcy this week, Trey. Before we get into the show, he's of course being sued by the Sandy Hook people, and his bankruptcy, of course, he's not actually running out of money. He's just trying to show
Right.
his assets from the lawyers.
Yeah.
But he did something real funny. He tried to name himself as his number one creditor. So Alex Jones Inc. went bankrupt, and he tried to arrange it where the first person that gets paid out is all the money Alex Jones Inc. owns to Alex Jones, which is really funny. Uh, in other news before we get to the show, our boy JD got the Trump endorsement, baby. He won the first leg of the Psycho Decathlon.
How
And it was
about
really
that?
funny
He must be
because when
very
Trump,
excited.
yeah, all this whoring and sucking up paid off. But what's funny was when Trump put out the endorsement, he said something along the lines of, he said, JD has had some not nice things to say in the past, but has come around. The not nice things were a text message or DM he sent to someone that they screen grabbed and went viral. Here's what JD said in 2016. I'm not surprised by Trump's rise, and I think the entire party has only itself to blame. We are, whether we like it or not, the party of lower income, lower education white people. And I've been saying for a long time we need to offer these people something in all caps. And hell, maybe an expand our appeal to working class black people in the process, in parentheses, or a demagogue would. We're now at that point. Trump is the fruit of the party's collective neglect. I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical asshole like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad, parentheses, and might even prove useful, in parentheses, or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging? This is the guy who JD has filleted for the past 2 years.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, yeah, like we were talking about him recently, and I said, I said about, how he had come to our show and I'd met him and talked to him and all that stuff. And that's like, this was 2016, JD, when he was saying all that shit like you just read right there. You know what I mean? Like he was singing a pretty different tune, but you can't do nothing over there anymore if you don't kneel and kiss the ring.
Speaking truth in the DMs and lying in public, baby. That's what it takes right nowadays. But I'm not sure like who's more cucked there, Trump or, because like Trump obviously sold his endorsement to Peter Thiel, and it's like who's working for who? I can't even figure out anymore. It's like a 69 of cucking going on. Yeah, and I explain it, but this is like the thing these people do have to get his endorsement. Like there's an Alabama House, I forget if it's a Senator House right now, but he had endorsed Mo Brooks. Trump had, but he rescinded his endorsements.
The House, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Mo Brooks, a representative.
He wasn't. I think maybe he's running for anyway. I think he's running for trying to get.
He's running for the Senate now. Okay,
I'm talking on my ass. I could just click on the link and look it up. But you guys, if you guys are really that curious, anyway, it doesn't matter. These old assholes. But so the woman who's trying to get his announcement currently used to be a centrist, like never Trumper, and he's roasted her for it. Her name's Katie Britt, I think. He called her the Lynn Cheney of Alabama, and her husband got caught liking some tweets. He liked some tweets in 2016 and last year. One where he talked about, we just watched a man melt down on live TV. That was a tweet during the debate with Hillary. And then he talked about how Kyle Rittenhouse was the fruit of Trump's America. He liked that tweet. And somebody dug those up, and he immediately pivoted to, I've been framed by big tech. I never liked those tweets. Quote, just like big tech maliciously and wrongly banned President Trump and helped rig the election against him, I have no doubt that the anti-Trump big tech backers of Mike Durant will falsify anything. Mike Durant's the other Trump psycho running. So it's like, this is all fucking stupid.
So fun fact about that guy. So Katie Britt, the one who's running for office, her husband, I saw the name in the rundown and I was like, is that? And I looked it up. And he played O-line at Alabama and then in the NFL for a few years. So, like, this dude's had his brain mushed around a few times. You know what I mean? Like, he probably don't remember. He might not remember liking them tweets. You know, it's hard to say. But anyway, Alabama royalty, dude.
I guess it makes me feel better these people are have integrity when they think no one's looking.
Right. Yeah. At least there's that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. With us, as always, is producer Matt. This is Weekly Skews. I want to remind y'all, of course, if you're vaccinated and want to see me live, you can go to wellreadcomedy.com. We're going to be in Louisville this weekend. We were just in Portland. Thanks to anybody who came out. It was incredible. And that there will be some more dates coming up soon. Probably next week I'll have some more to announce for y'all. But either way, come see us in Louisville. Secondly, if you like the show and would like to support us, you can do so by signing up on Patreon, $5 a month to get full-length bonus episodes. You can go to weeklyskews.com/more or go to Patreon, search for my name, and you will find it there. And, come on, give us a solid. We sure would appreciate it, and we're having a good time with it. Okay. As for the show tonight, we will meet the federal judge in Florida who struck down the mask mandate, a Trump appointee who turns out, you never believe this, doesn't seem to be entirely qualified. Also, we will meet the January 6th equivalent of Eeyore, so that'll be fun. And then we're going to explore the new standard of American masculinity as defined by that most manly of men, Tucker Carlson. All that and more on tonight's Skews. But first, of course, the Daily Dumbass. Matt, graphic, please. Tonight's DD, anyone who's ever been homeless who did not seek inspiration in this most obvious of sources. Play the clip.
Speaker, I haven't given a history lesson in a while, and I want to give you a little history on homelessness. 1910, Hitler decided to live on the streets for a while. So for 2 years, Hitler lived on the streets and practiced his oratory and his body language and how to connect with us, and then went on to lead a life that got him in the history books. So a lot of these people, it's not a dead end. They can come out of these homeless camps and have a productive life.
A productive life. Yeah, just keep your nose to the grindstone, and one day you too might commit a Holocaust. This is, of course, from my home state of Tennessee. Been at least a week, I think, until we've been in the absurdly stupid headlines coming from the state house there. Senator Frank Nicely represents Strawberry Plains, District 8, up there in the northeast part of the state. So, yeah, keeping that reputation strong. Hitler, Mark, he was homeless. Look how he turned out.
Matt made this point, but like, there's lots of famous, successful people who were homeless. He could have went with Lizzo, Tiffany Haddish, Jewel, Harry Houdini, Charlie Chaplin. And like, he could have picked anybody but fucking Hitler. And just like, I mean, I know why he didn't pick Lizzo or Tiffany Haddish, because like,
Yeah.
they're brown. But like, what the fuck? This is like, oh god. If you guys don't know this, what county are you from, Trey?
I'm from Clay County.
Okay,
He
so you're
represents
not-
Claiborne and among
Okay.
some others, I think. Yeah. This is not
Uh,
ours. I'll be honest. I'm sure our state level representative is probably not much better, but I don't even know.
Yeah. So a little bit more about this guy. One, he's a birther, because of course he is. Also, he's argued again that global warming isn't a problem because carbon dioxide is actually good for plants. It's plant food, so therefore more carbon dioxide is good. He also made up a weird conspiracy theory about coyotes. He told a bunch of people that the explosion in the coyote population was because the State Department of Wildlife or whatever was importing coyotes for some sort of nefarious. And it was like, no, coyotes just came here, but I don't know what that. It's fucking weird. These people are like everything's a government conspiracy, man. Coyote.
He thought they were importing coyotes. Did you see from
Yeah.
where? Like, was it
No.
Mexico? Was he like,
No.
Mexico? They're not just sending the drug dealers and the rape, but they're sending their coyotes up here too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're up
that's
here,
what-
coming up here, chasing all our road runners out of
Yeah.
Tennessee. Speaking of road runners, he does love birds in a specific way. He's argued against making cockfighting a felony in Tennessee, and helped defeat a bill that would have increased the $50 fine for cockfighting to $2,500, saying that cockfighting is a cultural tradition. He said, quote, they pay their taxes. They're not bothering anybody. I don't know what the big deal is. And he also said that cockfighting brings in tourist dollars from other
Yeah,
states.
yeah, buddy. You didn't know that? Tennessee,
Yeah.
that's like our number 3 source of tourist funds right there. Big cockfighting state.
It's like, look, I've never been to a cockfight.
Me neither.
I've
I've been aware of them though. Like I can remember hearing about about cockfights existing. Like when I was in high school and shit. I never went and checked it out though.
Yeah. But it's so weird to me how the reactionary mind works. Is like, let me think of a cruel thing and be in favor of it.
Right.
Speaking of which, what he's speaking in favor of there is Tennessee just outlawed homelessness. Well, not officially. The governor still got to sign it, but he's definitely going to sign it because our governor is a psycho. They basically passed it. It's a $50 fine for air quote public camping. Now, talk about not solving the fucking problem. If someone's too poor to afford a place to live, you fine them $50.
I know.
Right?
That's how it always goes, man. It's like it costs so much money to not have any money in this country. You know what I mean? Everything that's associated with being broke comes with fees and shit.
Yeah.
And, whereas, of course, the opposite is also true. If you got enough money, that money will just make more money and you don't have to do shit.
But it's like, no, God, I get so mad when people talk about homelessness because it's like none of this, there's no connection between homeless people are a problem, us fining them for being homeless, then problem solved.
No, I know. That's my whole thing with it. That's my whole thing with it too. It's like the people that argued for it, they're like, well, see, this gives the police an extra tool in their belt to combat homelessness. And I'm like, what? How the fuck? Where do they then go? Like, it's like, how many more steps removed are these people from literally just saying, just shoot them? Like, just go shoot them in the street. That would solve the homelessness problem. It's like, because like you said, it doesn't, finding a homeless person $50 or running them off from one spot, that it's not like that gets them a job and sets them up with a place to stay. Like they're still going to be homeless in and around that general area. I just don't understand what this is supposed to do.
Yeah, and if you can't pay your fine, of course, it's going to be a bench warrant out for your arrest, which means you're going to get arrested and end up in jail. And by the way, it's much more expensive to put someone in a jail than it is to just give them a fucking apartment.
Right.
It's way more expensive. It's just like, this is so ass backwards. I find all of it so frustrating.
Ass backward,
No,
buddy. That's our middle name in Tennessee.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
right there in the heated race for
Well, shit.
dumbest state legislature right now, for sure.
I mean, California in the recall election, the most viable Democratic guy on the ballot, if Newsom had been recalled, his main platform was using the National Guard to round up the homeless and put them in camps. This is not. This is a nationwide fucking moral and ethical and policy disaster. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
We hate poor people in this country. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Can't stand them. No. All right, well, let's move on. Talk about something that everybody else in this country also hates, goddammit, having to wear a mask every day. Guess what? You don't have to anymore, not in the airports anyway. The mask mandate was struck down. Some people are thrilled about it, including Dan Crenshaw here.
Keyword.
Okay. All right, that's enough. This episode's going to disappear from YouTube now, but we'll see. But yeah, Dan Crenshaw literally just walking around the airport with no mask on and blasting some Pharrell Williams, who I feel like would probably not be entirely down with that musical choice, just a guess.
No, I mean, it's like with these guys. I mean, I understand the conservatives have to separate art from artists all the time because none of them like them. But like,
Right.
they're going to exclusively listen to Kid Rock and Nugent. But the choosing Pharrell for this, Pharrell's cousin was killed by cops. He's been calling for a federal investigation into that. So like, I don't think he'd want to be associated with this, especially because I don't know if he really loves that his most famous song is from Despicable Me 2.
Right.
If you don't know Pharrell, he's a brilliant producer who was behind the Neptunes and the band Nerd, whose most famous song is Lap Dance, which I'm betting Dan Crenshaw is not familiar with. We wanted to use this to talk about to get into talking about the mask mandate ending on airplanes. I don't really, whatever, the policy implications of it. Nobody's wearing masks anymore anyway. So like, what the fuck are we doing here? But like, the fact these people are so mad about masks on airplanes, it's like, you fly a lot, Trey.
All the time.
If you hold a cup of water in your hand, no one makes you put the fucking mask on. It's not a hard rule to get around. If you don't want to
it's also fun, and I know this only applies to me, or maybe some other people do it too, but I try to nap or sleep as much as possible, maybe have a podcast going or something, but I carry a ball cap that I just put over my face the whole time, so I don't have to, see any light or as little light as possible. And I was just thinking how like it, I'm voluntarily covering my entire face up just to keep the world out, and how that's just the equivalent of full bore fascism to so many people having to have half of it covered up the whole time. Like, it's just the level of rage that these things have incited in so many people is wild to me, because it's not really that big of a fucking deal, man, or it shouldn't be. But they, like, there was that lawyer, you showed me a tweet in the group chat recently. There was some lawyer that was like, I've worked as an attorney representing rapists, murderers, and you name it, and I've done that job proudly. But I resigned today because I refuse to be part of a system that makes children wear masks to school. Because he was on I don't remember how that worked out. He was somehow like involved in a school board dispute or whatever, and they were going to make kids keep wearing masks, and he was like, this was a bridge too far.
Yeah, I think he was a lawyer for a school district. But like, also, like, I don't mean to stone defense attorneys, because the reason you represent murderers and rapists or whatever is to make cops do their jobs right. And I'm in favor of that. But I mean, Drew was a public defender. It's a noble profession.
No, dude, public defender is great. I get the sentiment of like, we need defense attorneys very badly. It's just a wild way to frame that, like framing that argument and then following it up with, but fighting to keep masks on children is too much to ask any attorney to do. It's a wild way to frame the whole thing.
Yeah. My stance on masks doesn't have anything to do with this, because the judge who made this decision, and by the way, a system in which a fucking just appointed federal judge in one circuit can just overrule an entire federal policy seems pretty insane to me, but whatever. This woman, a little about her. Her name is Judge Catherine Kimball Mizell. She clerked for Clarence Thomas, was rated as not qualified by the Bar Association. She was 33 when she was nominated and confirmed during a lame duck session in 2020. She's 8 years out of law school, never tried a case of any time. Of any kind. I looked into her record. She did sit like third chair for a couple cases, but she never even questioned a witness. She went to a little Bible college in Florida called Covenant College. I'd never heard of it. I looked up their notable alumni, and the only one I'd heard of was the guy who killed John Lennon.
Right.
Yeah,
Good
Mark David
company.
Chapman.
Mark David Chapman and this lady.
Yeah, and by the way, I never really understood why he killed John Lennon. It was because he compared himself to Jesus. So that Bible college totally worked on him. I've seen her age listed in a couple different ways, either 34 or 35, which is only funny to me because she's so young for a judge. It's like you're doing the little kid thing of like, I'm 34 and a half.
Yeah.
The Bar Association dug up some papers she'd written. So you get to the kind of lunatic she is. She's the kind of originalist who thinks shit that like paper money is unconstitutional, Trey.
Isn't that like some Andrew Jackson shit or something? Like, didn't he hate currency too? I'm pretty sure it was something like, or the federal bank. He thought something
Yeah.
like that was unconstitutional. But yeah, that's like, yeah, you don't hear that one very often anymore.
Yeah, it's a big plot line in Hamilton, I think, is that James Madison wanted the central bank and Thomas Jefferson was opposed. I don't know, but so the reason is like the Constitution mentions that the federal government can mint coinage, but doesn't mention paper. So it's that kind of like that's to me is the embodiment of like conservative legal theory. It's like you remember the Seinfeld episode where it's like the card says "moops."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything's that. It's like the
Right.
Constitution says coin, so we all must carry 40 pounds of metal around in our pockets because 300 years ago, nobody knew that they could print cotton money, which is what we carry around. Anyway, she's an absolute like wingnut lunatic. She'll probably be president in 5 years.
Right.
By the way, the corruption angle of this is her husband was acting general counsel of the Department of Homeland Security under Trump, which is a job he got because he's friends with Stephen Miller, noted psychopath. And I don't know if I've mentioned on the show before, but he's the son of my landlords, the people who own my building.
How about that shit?
Yeah, small world, right? So. By the way, yeah, when his emails have become public and people FOIA'd them, and her husband did get a bunch of work emails about overturning the election because the Department of Homeland Security, of course, was who everyone wanted to seize the voting machines. Now his current job is working for that Jared Kushner fund that just got $2 billion from the Saudi government, so everything functioning normally.
Yeah, I mean, it's so clearly she's just, she got this pretty big time, appointed judge position based entirely just off, her connections and her ideas. She knows the right people and she agrees with the right things or whatever. And there's really no argument to the contrary, given all the things you said. Like she was literally rated as unqualified for it by the American Bar Association, but still got in because that's how our system apparently works, which is fucked up. And it's also kind of wild juxtaposed with all the, the grilling and everything that they did to Ketanji Brown Jackson, a couple of weeks ago for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It's a farce.
If you're wondering what's coming, by the way, because she's an avatar of this whole movement, the thought process behind her ruling was nonsense. It's basically saying that she completely misread the statute to make it say something it didn't say. And she said that making people wear a mask on a plane is the same thing as barring people from airplanes who don't want to wear masks, which is a type of seizing them, like under the Fourth Amendment. So it's like being arrested. But basically, this type of people don't think the government should be able to do anything. So like we've talked before about how the end result of this is the Supreme Court saying that the EPA can't regulate anything.
Right.
And it's going to end the end. If Neil Gorsuch gets his way, the FDA is not going to be able to inspect meat anymore. Nothing's going to be able to work. And so this is the beginning of that. Fun times.
So yeah, that'll be good. People will be being ground up into spam and shit before you know it. Back to the good old days.
That's what we're going to do with the homeless, Trey. Make them
there you go. That's an idea. Kill two birds with one stone. All right, next up, let's talk. I called him the January 6th equivalent of Eeyore. Let's talk about this guy, Mark. So his name is Dustin Thompson. Fun fact, anybody who's listened to Well Read podcast for a long time may already know. My best friend in the world for my whole life is also named Dustin Thompson. So this guy has been a big a fixture in the group chat recently,
Yeah.
and my Dustin Thompson is not a huge fan of it for reasons that will become obvious. But anyway, yeah, go ahead, tell us about him.
Yeah, so he's the guy, you might have seen the viral photos. He's the one that stole the lectern and was carrying it around, smiling and
Oh,
dancing.
all right,
And
I do remember that guy.
so when he threw himself in the mercy of the court after being convicted and was like, all I did, I would basically, he was saying, I'm a very sad and lonely guy, and I just wanted Trump's respect and approval. So like he
Yeah,
just wanted Trump to be his daddy. Like that's not even the most sad thing about this. This is a thread from a reporter covering I'm reading from. There's a lot of compelling testimony in the Dustin Thompson case today, but the most brutal lie might have come from his wife, a Democrat, about what she was doing on January 6th when her husband was off stealing a coat rack. I was just enjoying the house being quiet, she said.
bam. That's a classic wife burn right there. Coming
Do
off
not,
the top rope with it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a
Uh,
good one.
do not marry the wrong person, people. I've known too many people that did, and it'll fuck up your whole life. But so she said she didn't believe all the nonsense conspiracy theories that her husband was consuming online, and he lost his job again the pandemic, so he was just real sad. He was working, she was working, he was unemployed, and he was just home reading the internet and fucking getting riled up on conspiracy theories. He testified that if the president gives you an order to do something, I feel obligated to do that, which is like, here's the thing about living in a free country.
Yeah,
The founding principle of America is if the ruler tells you to do something, you absolutely do not fucking have to do it. All right? These are people who call themselves patriots.
yeah. But dude,
Yeah.
that's their whole thing. Is it's like clearly they want to live in like an authoritarian dictatorship, though. Like at their core, that's really what they want, evidently. So they're down for the marching orders, man. That's how
Yeah.
cults be. But yeah, the guy said that he never really had any any strong male figures in his life, and so he
Yeah.
just wanted Daddy Trump's respect and approval.
Yeah. He's a
That's
38-year-old
rough.
married college graduate
Yeah.
who told jurors that he felt, quote, good when Donald Trump told him on January 6th that he was, quote, stronger, smarter, and had more going on than anybody. Oh my God. And this is like, so these people are all being held in this, they put them in the same wing of the jail. We've talked about it before. But there's a new piece in NPR today about the behind the scenes going on there, because they've devolved into different fashions depending on, because like one group of people, one GoFundMe called Patriot something, of course, raised like $3.5 million. And they're being very, very, they're making people jump through a bunch of hoops to get the money, and they're playing favorites. And some people are getting really mad about it. But so the behind the scenes, like there's one guy with a Hitler mustache, because of course he does, who's like the pet of this GoFundMe, and he's deciding who gets dispersed funds. So while some of these people are locked up, some of their families are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars to support them while the breadwinner is in jail, and other people are losing their homes and stuff because they don't have the right friends in the jail.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
that sounds pretty American to me, generally
yeah.
speaking. It's all about who you know, buddy. The connections are huge, even in that world. But yeah, that's wild how that, how that gets to work that way. I mean, I guess I don't know what any of the damn GoFundMe rules or whatever, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, so one detainee compared the situation to, quote, the movie Mean Girls, but with racist anti-Semitic extremists.
I'd watch. We should do a sketch about that or something.
Yeah,
Like
racist Mean Girls.
sketch set with these dudes in jail, especially because I know you're getting to this. They put on little talent shows and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have some fun with it.
Yeah, this is like, so what they're doing to kill the time in there, this is from the story. When they did have access to recreation time, then he bonded. They sang the Star Spangled Banner at 9 every evening. God, what boring people. Compared notes on legal cases, and this was the part that killed me. Even hosted a short-lived jailhouse show called The Hopium Den, where inmates put on skits and did comedy routines roasting one another. Some inmates said the jokes could be brutally mean.
Like I kind of want a transcript, man, from the Hopium Den. I do. I mean, there's some wild shit getting thrown about in
Yeah, well,
that,
these
because
people
I
are,
doubt they're like deft. Like these ain't Jeff Ross types we're talking about. You know what I mean? They're not
no,
like deft roast masters. I'm assuming. So
no.
I'm guessing it's probably just straight up insults hurled at each
Yeah.
other, and then laughing after they say it. And like I'd kind of like to see at least a little bit of it.
Yeah, their version of a joke is, like I said, just called a guy fat, or calling
Right.
a fat guy tiny,
Yeah.
or like
Danny's wife cheated on him. What a loser. Like that type of shit.
yeah, like or like maybe some racist jokes or
Sure.
probably like maybe like. But it's funny to me these people try to overthrow the government and we're fine with that and killing cops. But then they're like, but that guy, that was all fine with me. But then this guy said, my mom's so fat
Yeah.
when she sits around the house, and that was too
That was a
far.
bridge too far. Yeah. Oh, dude. These people in this whole deal is truly the gift that keeps on giving as far as all
Yeah,
that goes. It's just something new every week.
yeah. Another dumbass update. So we talked a couple weeks ago about the guy running against Lauren Boebert, who made that ad that we thought was funny at the time about like it was just a bunch of shit raining down, and then Lauren Boebert spraying shit all around Congress.
I mean, I might be wrong, but I feel like even when we watched that, we were saying like, this dude's wild.
Yeah,
Right, like we were looking at like this is like I didn't believe that it was real at first. I was like, this is a joke or something, but apparently he's for real. But this dude's something else. Well, I mean, yeah, it turns out he is something else. I didn't predict the particular brand of something else that he is at the time, but anyway, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, he's adopted an internet persona that's sort of like Herschel Walker's son, and is doing very similar shit. And we'll show you what we're talking about. He's really annoying, and turns out if you primary this guy,
I love when people are like, policy, you lost my vote. Oh, what vote was that? Was that the vote you were going to give to some Bernie wannabe whose overkill policies are unpopular with 75% of voters, just so you could feel good about yourself until they lose the general election, at which point you'll point your finger and blame someone else? That vote? Oh, honey, your vote got lost a long time ago. Democrats need to wake up. Jesus, in order to legislate.
you guys get the gist. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering how Democrats could lose to a QAnon person that sold poisonous pork sliders and has a husband who showed his dick to children, but this guy's the walking answer. He's just so fucking incredibly lame. So, like, he posted this video to, like, and then everyone made fun of him for it, and he did the conservative thing where he pretended like everyone making fun of him was being canceled, and then he makes this video, which is even more lame somehow.
Throw yours away on some ultra-liberal pipe dream who has no shot just to make yourself feel warm and fuzzy at night. In order to legislate, Democrats must win. And in order to win, we need to nominate candidates who represent the district and play smart with common sense policies that can win. Not some platform designed to placate your overwoke Twitter temper tantrum pipe dreams.
So, okay, I mean, look, I could be wrong and dumb about all this, but I just feel like it feels to me like the people who would be into this whole sort of like badass wisecracking super TikTok-y like persona he's doing are not the same people who are into ultra moderate centrist neoliberal like corporate liberal ideas. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it's not a great combination in my mind.
Here's what's so insane about this. There is no market for radical centrism.
Right.
It does not exist. Centrist is a personality type that doesn't like a lot of complaining and fighting. It's a child of divorced parents personality type that just wants everybody to calm down. So, like, literally the only guy that was going to vote for this guy is this guy.
Right. Matt was saying before we got on here, this guy really gets producer Matt's, what's the word? Gets his goat. Really,
Goat,
yeah.
yeah.
This is
Like
Mark's
that
dog.
dog,
Mark's dog gets producer Matt's goat. This guy does. Matt says, this guy drives me fucking nuts. He has a stereotype of rural people, and he's running on it. But Matt was saying earlier, it's like, really, the policies, progressive policies are popular, but the candidates have just not been popular or effective in a lot of examples. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, it's kind of they barely even have policies. Like conservative policies, especially like fiscal ones, aren't really popular with almost anybody, but they've got the personalities, the culture war shits and the fucking sound bites and all that they're so great at to get their people. But what this dude is trying to do, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, I mean, it's like there's a certain phenomena where, like, so you got your Lauren Boeberts and your Marjorie Taylor Greens, and they become viral famous for owning the libs, right? So they get a bunch of grassroots money from conservatives like them owning the libs. And then liberals nationwide hate them. So then they because the libs are being owned, so they become their opponents become national fundraising targets, and they raise millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it's a waste of money because Marjorie Taylor Greene is probably almost definitely going to win. And I hate to break everyone's hearts, but it's just like this is the world we live in. And the closest I can come up with what this guy's doing, he's just trying to raise a bunch of money nationally and then spend it on fun stuff, buy bouncy houses as a campaign rally so you can jump around. I don't fucking know what he's trying to do, but it's not trying to win. And everyone's so everything he's doing is so dumb that then the Washington Post ran a profile of him this week, even though he's like one guy in a primary in a House race far away from DC. Is basically like, can get dunked online and win an election, and the answer is fucking no. Right. Unless you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, it is not going to work for this guy. It's Boebert's district is like Trump plus 10 or something. It's
right.
Just like,
I mean, you're right. It's like, getting dunked on online. It goes great for them, but again, they are people. They don't see it as them getting dunked on. They see it as them owning the libs. Because when they get dunked on, they're like, "Look how hard that lib was owned. They just dunked on her," and it don't go the opposite direction.
Yeah. Anyway, there are sane people in that district. Here's a quote from a 19-year-old TikToker who's way more mature than this guy, who says, "I hate rude politicians, but I especially hate entitled candidates," said Olivia Juliana, who's a 19-year-old activist, before urging Coloradans to vote for Saul Sandoval, another Boebert challenger, who I recommend you guys voting for too. She's the daughter of immigrants, a social worker, and a community organizer. Sandoval is also on TikTok, by the way, if that's what you're thinking. If that's your preferred policy platform. Oh my God. So yeah. Oh God, this guy. Yeah. Anyway, the batshit ad was fun. Yeah, it was a fun moment.
Yeah. Speaking of TikTok, I can't remember if did I talk on here about how I got banned from TikTok for hate speech? If I did or if I didn't, it's okay. They let me back on, guys. It's all right. Our long national nightmare is over. Justice has been served and crisis averted. Okay.
You do the dances. Get back on there and do the dances.
Yeah. I need to look into the dancing stuff. That's where it's really at over on TikTok. But let's talk about even manlier shit than TikTok. That's right. And we're just gonna start with the clip.
this Tucker Carlson aired a promo for his new documentary Friday night. It went viral because it's so fucking ridiculous. A lot of you probably already seen it. We're gonna watch it because it's worth watching again because it's fucking
so
crazy.
Worth watching.
And then we're gonna talk about it because I think it is indicative of something larger that I find fascinating. But go ahead and roll it, Matt. Hell yeah. This is Easter week, right? It's a guy looking like Jesus.
Society collapses then. You're in hard times. Well, hard iron sharpens iron, as they say. And those hard times inevitably produce men who are tough, men who are resourceful, men who are strong enough to survive. And they go on to re-establish order. And so the cycle begins again.
That is, I think, maybe the gayest thing since the volleyball scene from Top Gun. It's like goes right up there in the homoerotic echelon amongst such luminaries as that scene. Like, why are they're all half naked, comically jacked, flexing, wrestling and shit. And then, of course, to say nothing of Mr. Tan Balls there.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a nut tanning machine, man. Outside. Outside seems like a wild choice for your nut tanning machine placement, I guess, unless, of course, you're a real man and you want to, establish your dominance to the rest of the neighborhood and all the woodland creatures by tanning your nuts out in the open every evening, as the good Lord intended.
So Tucker's apparently producing a whole new documentary series called "The End of Men," and that quote he used in there is a sort of a famous quote that's been floating around for a while. I have no idea the origin of it, but it's like the paraphrase is like, "Hard times create hard men, hard men create good times create soft men create
Oh,
hard times. It's like
yeah,
something like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I've
which
seen
is like,
that. Yeah.
just for a second, I want to talk about what bullshit that is. Like, all my grandfathers and one of my great grandfathers fought in World War II, which is like the idealized version of this sort of this like meme.
Mm-hmm.
They did not fight in World War II, so then I could have to fight in World War III.
Right.
The whole point of winning that war was so that I could have a job where I look at like Final Draft and be like, should this? I think fucking nuggets is a better punch word here. Let's use that. And then get food on goddamn fucking Grubhub and have a sweet. That's the whole point of it. It's not. Look, and then like, how does this make like? First of all, by the way, all the guys that fought in World War II were like 19-year-olds who were like 125 pounds who were living on beans. They weren't like super tough, rugged, jacked guys. And so this guy's son, and like, drop this on Easter weekend. This is obviously like a Christ metaphor, right? Like, it looks like he's being crucified. He's naked, and he's sunning his goddamn testicles.
What would Jesus do? Tan his ball sack. That's what.
Yeah. Yeah, the point of this is you got to tan your testicles with red light in order to reverse the damage of reduced testosterone caused by libs.
Wokeism? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like, why? So, yeah, I thought about that. It's like the whole sort of premise of it is, I guess, that like masculinity is being slowly neutered by our like weak, woke, liberal ideals or whatever. Like the woke mob on
Yeah.
Twitter is somehow chopping everybody's balls off or whatever is the sort of like central thesis. But right, why would that affect this man's balls? This is a real, genuine, Tucker Carlson approved manly man right here. Why would his balls be in any kind of danger from us liberal queers on the left, like me and you, Mark? Like, we're not affecting his balls. He should have big, swollen, like Paul Bunyan balls, shouldn't
Yeah,
he? I don't understand how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, I don't really understand how it's supposed to work either.
Like,
but,
being a pussy is contagious, is what they're
Yeah.
saying, and they're all catching it from us.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess what happened was me and this guy made out, and I gave him libtardness.
Yeah.
So Tucker's been on this "they're destroying men" tip for a long time. It basically ramping up since there was a 2019 Gillette ad for razors where they talked about Me Too stuff, and basically like the Me Too movement triggering this is sort of like, it's weird to me because it's like they're basically saying like men were more manly back when they could spank their wives or whatever. I don't fucking really get it, but like the thing about it, the masculinity stuff, he's like on a medical basis, not a political basis, he's not totally wrong. Testosterone levels have been dropping medically in men for like 20, 30 years now. And no one really knows why. There's a lot of theories. One, humans are like older than we used to be. We're like heavier than we used to be. And both those things can affect.
Yeah, I was going to say, I assumed like all the other various ways we've gotten more unhealthy over the years probably like ties into this, like.
Yeah.
But we're also fatter too, but like, when Michelle Obama says, "Hey, you should feed your kids salad," they're like, "Get the fuck out of here, you fascist!" Yeah. Like, so I'm not.
But also, that. Like, that's from Urology Times, which is like a medical study. But the funniest headline I found about this that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit was from Forbes, and it said, "You're not the man your father was." Which felt a little hilarious and personal. But the way they clock in this stuff, there's funny metrics because it's like there's like more men are taking boner pills and testosterone treatments than ever before. Which is like, because those things were just invented fairly recently in human history, and also people live way longer. So like when you're dying at 60, you're probably fine stopping fucking at 45. But when you're living to 90, you probably want to fuck to your 80.
Also, I'm sorry, and I don't, like, because I'm doing. On the Well Read podcast, we've been having Blue Chew ads for a while and everything. Yeah. And I don't feel like people taking more boner pills necessarily means that people are having trouble just getting boners more so than they used to be. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, those are just, buddy, it's like a whole new boner is what I'm saying. It's like a gift boner you're giving yourself when you dive into those waters. So I don't think I think everybody's just like, I'd like some boner pills. Why not? As opposed to if without these boner pills, I cannot, perform adequately or whatever.
Yeah, far be it from me to stand between any man and his boner supplement of choice. But like some of the other metrics were like they're like, well, in 2016 study, the average 20 to 35-year-old man could apply 98 pounds of force with right hand and grip, down from 117 pounds by a man the same age in 1985. But like, people work with their hands less than they used to.
Right.
Like, so like, yeah, way more guys are making a living doing like pipe fitting back then. And now most people make a living sending emails of different varieties. So like, I don't know that that's really telling you anything about a person's testosterone level or manliness, as opposed to like what we spend our days doing. But also that one felt personal because like while I work out and stuff, I've always had terrible grip strength. It's like, and this was like, grip strength isn't necessarily a proxy for overall fitness. It's but it is a strong predictor of future mortality. It's like, wait a minute, I'm gonna, no matter how hard I work out, I'm gonna die sooner because I can't open a jar of pickles.
This whole segment's just been hitting real close to home for you, eh, Mark? You're just like,
yeah,
I'm taking all this shit kind of personal.
It's also because like all the stuff that made my dad a more manly man than me is the stuff that fucking killed him.
Of course, dude.
Working outside,
all the manly
smoking,
man stuff will fucking kill you. You know.
Yeah.
You know, used to be super manly, fucking smoking cigarettes, drinking whiskey all goddamn day, eating red meat, all that shit. All which, you know, hell, hits, but will kill you.
Yeah, all the hits will kill you, Trey. That's pretty much
all the hits will kill you. Everybody knows it.
Well, the grip strength thing hit home for me. We're going on a tangent about medical stuff for a second. We'll get back to the politics of it in a minute. But from that same article, this is pretty funny, and it will probably hurt your feelings like the grip strength did mine. But meanwhile, certain forms of close relationships, such as marriage, fatherhood, and increased time spent with children, are causally linked to lower testosterone levels. So, medically speaking, knocking a woman up and raising kids with her will make you gay.
I know. That's what I was about to say. It's like, oh yeah, dude, nothing's less manly than fucking marrying a woman and impregnating her multiple times. Can't get much gayer than that. We all really, dude, we should all just be living together. Men, just us men with our shirts off out in the woods, just chopping trees and stuff. No women around. Just the manliest utopia you can imagine. Just a bunch of bros being dudes, naked, you know. Get the women out of the equation. That's how to be truly manly.
Yeah. But anyway, bring it back to the sunning stuff. It really doesn't matter how many wives and kids you have, Trey. The real problem with testosterone is that your balls are too pasty white.
Yeah.
Let's take it from the man himself, Tucker Carlson.
You saw in the clip there, if you want to optimize and take it to another level, expose yourself to red light therapy.
Yes.
And the Juve that we were using in the documentary.
Look at Tucker's
There's a massive amount of
it. Testicle tanning.
It's testicle tanning, but it's also full body red light therapy, which has a massive amount of benefits. And there's so much data out there that isn't being picked up on or covered.
So obviously half the viewers right now are like, what? That's testicle tanning? That's crazy. But my view is, okay, testosterone levels like
all right, so this is like, he's doing medical misinformation, right? Which is like, this documentary is also interviewing RFK Jr., who's like, you know, America's leading anti-vax advocate for like decades now, who's, you know, married to Cheryl Hines. And I think we think of this stuff. All right. There's an article like in the Washington Post this week talking about how what Tucker Carlson's really selling is doubt. And that's pretty much what he does. He just tells you this thing you thought you believed. Actually, you can't believe those people. That's literally every segment he does. Right. And so he's doing this with all kinds of medical stuff right now. And the right's been doing this for years. We think it's like someone called it goop for the MAGA set. Yeah. And it exists all through fucking right-wing media.
Yeah, man. I never thought about it that way until I saw the rundown earlier, but that's fucking perfect in my opinion. It's all that like sort of alpha brain fucking bro supplement shit that everybody knows is everywhere. It's all over the place. And like, goop for the alt-right or whatever is seems pretty accurate.
Alex Jones was selling literally the same supplements that Gwyneth Paltrow was pushing in Goop, but like just changing the labels to look like with skull. Instead of putting like flowers on it, he puts like skulls on it, but it's the same fucking ingredients, right? And it's like, it's not just Alex Jones. Like Mike Cernovich was pushing Gorilla Powder, which is like, I don't know if it was in it, but it's supposed to make your brain and both your brain and your dick stronger if you bought it off his website. They sell fad diets, exercise regimens. The carnivore diet, which Jordan Peterson was pushing, which put him in the fucking hospital with gout along with his pill addiction. Gorilla Mindset, Super Male. These are like I don't know what it is about. Like if you watch Fox News for 10 minutes, all their ads are for gold, like cash for gold or gold for cash scams, right? And it's like if you sign up for a single conservative mailing list, you're going to inundate it with scam ads for like medical cure-alls, doomsday prepper stuff. And I don't know what it is about the reactionary mind that makes them so susceptible to scams. I think part of it is like conservatives tend to be older, and older people tend to be more susceptible to scams.
Mm-hmm.
But also just being scared of stuff all the time is an element of the reactionary mind that makes you more like open to being conned. Also, thinking you're superior is a thing con artists look for. If you think you're smarter than everybody else, no one else can see the truth, that makes you an easy mark for a con man. But like, oh, by the way, we brought up Alex Jones. Alex Jones saw this segment. Alex Jones helped produce it. Apparently, he loaned Tucker's production a gun and his property. There's 50 cal they were shooting was Alex Jones's, and they were shooting on his ranch in Texas. And he showed this segment just to talk about it, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's my 50 cal getting shot right there. This is, and again, he's putting a red light on his testicles, which boosts testosterone. This will trigger the libtards like nothing you've ever seen.
Hell yeah, I'm triggered.
He nailed us. We're pretty triggered over here.
I'm triggered. Yeah, you got it now, man.
All right.
So this is like a horseshoe theory of like insane medical stuff right now, because a lot of this stuff started off like anti-vax used to be like it was like started by like, you know, Marine County Hawaiian moms. It was like a culturally left-wing phenomenon.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why like we have these measles outbreaks in like Beverly Hills and and the Bay Area. But it's like these people met each other during the pandemic and reinforced each other's bullshit. And now you're probably going to have because this perineum sunning thing has been around for a few years. It's a fad among left wing health and wellness yoga types for a while. Like here's Diplo doing it a couple years ago, just buck naked, spread eagle on a mountaintop, just fucking showing.
I mean, hell, if it's a nice day, I'm sure that feels pretty pleasant. You know, sun in your butthole. Why not? Just don't tell people it's going to cure cancer or any of that type of shit. You know, just be like, yeah feels nice.
Yeah.
Ever had a sunny butthole? You should try it. And leave it at that.
Back when perineum sunning was the libs were tanning their taints. Conservatives are tanning their balls. I think there's a big distinction there for whatever reason. But this is a health and wellness influencer from a couple years ago. In a mere 30 seconds of sunlight on your butthole, you will receive more energy than you would an entire day being outside with your clothes on. One perineum sunner said an Instagram video. They also started this rumor to make it seem, because they love Eastern medicine so much, they were telling people that perineum sunning comes from Taoism. It absolutely fucking does not.
Dude, it's like they're saying our anuses are the body's solar panels.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's really that people don't know. Most energy actually comes in the body through the butt. So if you orient the butt in the direction of the sun, that's how you supercharge your batteries. Forget a cup of coffee. Just go outside and moon the sun for a little while and go about your day.
That's why our caveman ancestors were so strong, Trey, is there were no pants. The sunlight constantly hit their buttholes. Yep. And they were therefore got superpowers. I'm not going to tell anybody not to suntan your butthole and your balls. Do whatever feels good. But also,
again, dude, if your whole thing is like, I just like it, as long as there ain't other people around that don't want to see your butthole, fucking show your butthole to the sun. That's totally fine. But it's just, anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so I guess the takeaway here is if you're worried about having low T, there's things you can do. See a doctor, quit vaping, leave your wife and kids, lose weight, do all that if you want, but non-gendered M&Ms on TV probably have nothing to do with it.
Probably not the cause of it. Yeah. All right. Matt, you can get us a couple of comments, wherever, if you got some, throw them up there. But yeah, it's a weird sort of like connection to make. I get the overall premise of it. It's just like, again, everybody's turning into pussies out here is basically all they're saying. But why one of these people who in their head, they're like, I'm the biggest not pussy on earth, why they would need the testicle tanner is where I'm getting lost. They should be forcing me and you to tan our balls so we get better and be more like them. It don't connect. I wonder if Tucker Carlson put some money into that ball tanning company.
Probably.
Anna L.A. on YouTube says Florida banning math textbooks for CRT. I saw that. I saw it like on Twitter, but I didn't read I didn't look further into it at the time. But so math is racist against white kids now, or math makes white kids feel bad? I went to school with some white kids and math made them feel pretty dumb, but not racist, just dumb. And that's different.
I read about it, but I didn't see an explanation of what books or why. I'm assuming it's something in a word problem about like if Johnny Bravecorn and his Indian tribe loses 3 members, how many people are left in there? It's like
maybe they saw a thing that said they were going to be teaching about the 3/5 compromise, and they misconstrued that, and they're like, "No more fractions, get out of there." Gypsy Rome on Facebook says, "Like, subscribe, and share." Thank you very much, saving me from myself as always. Please click the all important internet buttons. We appreciate you. But yeah, I know I was talking to a guy earlier about like, I wonder how many different things would be not okay to teach a kid in the minds of a lot of these types of parents. Do you know what I mean? Like they have said, like what will be left to teach them if they start just ixnaying everything that they think is, inappropriate or whatever. Because science involves sex and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like anatomy. That ain't good. There's sweet little angel babies.
There's like a deeper assault on the people that make up public institutions and all this. Like Trump going on about the deep state. Like he's talking about like career professionals that took less money to work for the SEC or the FDA or whatever. And these are people that believe in like functioning institutions who want to make them work. Look at teachers. Like I worked for the newspaper, I had conservative buddies who complain about how liberals on media or whatever. It's like, yeah, but like think about the type of person that becomes a reporter. Like they're not, if they were money motivated, they work at the bank with you.
Sure.
They choose to go into journalism to do something else. And it's like,
right.
If you're conservative, if you want to make the media more conservative, go work at a fucking newspaper. I don't know what to tell you, but it's like the people that choose to go in to become teachers are choosing, or college graduates are choosing to work for 40 grand a year, 35, 40, 45 grand a year for their entire careers because they want to like help mold children's hearts and minds.
Yeah.
And that's an inherently sort of like social worker liberal way to look at the world. And like what I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, I went to a couple of years of getting my teacher certification, and I found it incredibly boring and tedious because it's a lot of like, it wasn't for me because the work you have to do to get there about pedagogy and all this stuff is very in the weeds and very about how 8-year-olds think. And it's like, you're just trying to make more and more miserable until all the teachers quit. It's like, that's the end result of all this. So, yeah.
Yeah. Sherry Tomlinson on Facebook says, follow the money to see who is invested in the, quote, appropriate textbooks.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing is, like, textbooks are very inherently conservative for the most part, unless you go to your way, because like California controls the automobile market by their setting their emission standards. Texas controls the school book market by having a government-appointed board that's really conservative who approves school book textbook purchasing with a large amount of power because they have so many schools and students. So like,
yeah, well, I mean, it was always like it was always like a big thing in the South for a long time that our textbooks didn't teach all the things that I feel like they're now calling critical race theory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, i.e. just the history of slavery and how abhorrent it was. I mean, we knew it existed, but the whole war, Northern aggression, all that type of shit, and it was worse in some places than others. But like, they were already censoring the reality of it. And so to hear them now screaming that it's, gone too far in the other direction or whatever is pretty asinine and upsetting.
I don't have it handy, but we showed it on here before. It was a picture from a elementary school history book in Virginia, where it depicts slavery. It shows a slave family getting off a boat, landing in America, the man shaking hands with his new masters. Everyone's wearing suits, including the enslaved people. And the only person working in the picture is a white guy in the background, rolled up a rope in the boat. And that's what they're teaching kids. And I'm like, how do you make that less the only thing you could do is make the enslaved people white, make them Irish or something. That's
Right.
the only thing you can do to make it less accurate. So like
I literally saw a meme the other day that said that it was like a conservative. You got posted for being so conservative and dumb, but it was a picture of like little white street urchins or whatever. And it's like, keep in mind that the Irish were treated worse than anybody who ever came in when they first came into this country, and you don't see them complaining every day. And it's like, and then there was it was on Reddit, and there were a bunch of Irish people in the comments like, that's fucking about all we do, buddy. You ever met an Irish person? Like, we complain more than anybody.
Me and you were Scotch Irish. All we do is fucking complain. We started a whole show about it.
All right. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Go to Patreon, get on there if you want to. Go to wellreadcomedy.com, get tickets, come see me in Louisville this weekend. Yeah, $5 a month, support the show, get some bonus shit, weeklyskews.com/more, all that, and everything else. Love y'all.